Okay, we are Leviticus, the 15th chapter. We'll start at the 4th verse. Every bed whereon he lieth that hath the issue is unclean. Everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. So we have the issue. Every bed that he lie on is unclean. Everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. So you got to have certain things that we had that even when women were on their cycle, they had certain places they laid or certain places they sat because it's unclean. It makes it unclean continually. Listen. And whosoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. So he said you got to wash your clothes and bathe your body in water. Clean yourself up. And you're going to be unclean until the evening. We just read, till the sun go down. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. So you unclean until the evening. Same thing, he's saying it over and over again. And he that touches the flesh of him that hath the issue shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. So you touch him. You want to have an issue. You're going to be unclean until the evening, till the sun go down. But he's telling you over and over again to wash your clothes and bathe yourself in water. So whatever you have on is unclean. And you touch this uncleanness of this man that have issue, a running issue. And if he that hath the issue spit upon him that is clean, you know, you might be talking like spit might come out of your mouth and get on and so on. Then he shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. And what saddle soever he rideth upon that hath the issue shall be unclean. So you on a saddle, you got this issue, you're going to be unclean. And whosoever touches anything that was under him shall be unclean until the evening. And he that beareth any of those things shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. So these are the things you're looking at over and over again. He's telling us the same thing. Bathe your clothes, wash your clothes, and bathe yourself in water. And you're going to be unclean until the evening, till the sun goes down. And whomsoever he touches that hath the issue, and hath not rinsed his hands in water, he shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. Over again. Your clothes are unclean. So you got to wash them clothes. Once you touch someone that has this issue, you're going to be unclean until the evening. If it happened early in the morning, you're still going to be unclean until the sun goes down. And the vessel of earth that he touches, which hath the issue, shall be broken. And every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. Rinse it out. But some vessels that's not made of wood, you got to break them. Like the potters make pottery and so forth. So it got to be broken. And every vessel of wood shall be rinsed in water. Clean it up with water. And when he that hath an issue is cleansed of his issue, then he shall number to himself 7 days for his cleansing. Once he's clear of this issue, you got to number 7 days for his cleansing, and wash his clothes, and bathe his flesh in running water, and shall be clean. It takes 7 days. And on the 8th day he shall take to him 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, and come before the Most High unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and give them unto the priest. And the priest shall offer them, the one for a sin offering. See, you have this issue, there's running issue. So the one for a sin offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Most High for his issue. So like it, one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for him before the Most High for his issue. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water, and be unclean until the evening. See? If your seed of copulation, that means sperm, go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water. You gotta wash your flesh in water and be unclean until the evening. Over and over again, you see, you're being unclean until the evening when the sun goes down. In every garment, in every skin, whereon is the seed of copulation, or sperm, shall be washed with water and be unclean until the evening. So it's going to be unclean until the evening. You can't put it back on until the evening, once the sun goes down. Now let's deal with the woman. The woman also, with whom man shall lie with, seed of copulation, meaning having sexual intercourse, and the seed of copulation, the sperm, goes into her, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the evening. So if you have sexual intercourse with your wife, you unclean until the evening. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days. If a woman have a cycle of blood, she should be put apart 7 days. And whosoever touches her shall be unclean until the evening. So when you touch her, you will be unclean until the evening, when the sun goes down. And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. So wherever she lie within these 7 days shall be unclean. It's going to be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. That's why you look at our women. They usually had a certain big pillow or a bed that they had for their uncleanness, the time that they was unclean, because if they sit somewhere else, that makes it unclean. You know, people say, "Oh, that was back then," but this is the law. These are the laws of the Most High that He set up. Verse 21. And whosoever touches her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. That's the bed that she lie on in her sickness, or not her sickness, but her cycle, her blood issue. And whosoever touches anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the evening. Gotta wash your clothes again, and you're unclean until the evening. And if it be on her bed, or on anything whereof she sitteth, when he touches it, he shall be unclean until the evening. So if it's on her bed, you're on the bed, you're gonna be unclean until the evening. And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, that's her blood issue, that she have her cycle, he shall be unclean 7 days. Complete week. He's going to be unclean for 7 days. And all the bed whereof he lieth shall be unclean. So the bed where he lieth going to be unclean too. And if a woman have an issue of her blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean. So if it go longer than normal, in all the days of her separation, you hear to say separation because you're supposed to be separated once you have your cycle. And you just got to treat it just like what he just said is concerning your separation. Every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation. You hear that? That's what I'm saying. They had a special bed that they lied on for the time of her separation. Separation means she's not normally where she would be at during the time that she's not on her cycle or her separation. And whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her separation. Wherever she sit gonna be unclean. And think about this. People go to church, they aren't going by these laws. They ain't none of the laws. So they mean wherever you sit is foul. in the churches. The women come in there on their cycle, sitting there, they at the podium, teaching, being preachers, they in the choir, they sitting in all the pews. That's why with our law, they were separated. That's why you just said, they have certain things they're not able to come to the congregation amongst the people whenever they have their cycle. That's why, how could a young woman really be a preacher or a teacher of a church when at least 2 weeks of the month, if she has her cycle, she can't even be around the children of Israel, the congregation and so forth. And those women that have the cycle, you got to look at the law and go by what it says to the best of your ability. There's not going to be any excuse because he's telling us here. And men, we heard the issues, like we got one issue, you're unclean. Wash your clothes and you're unclean until the evening. The sun goes down. Verse 26, every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation. And whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her separation. And whosoever touches those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the evening. You can thank Eve for this, ladies. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. So it's 7 days, while saying 2 weeks. 7 days, 2 weeks. Gotta count 7 days from that. And on the 8th day she shall take unto her two turtles, or 2 young pigeons, and bring them unto the priest, to the door of the tabernacle or the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, and the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Most High for the issue of her uncleanness. Thus shall you separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they die not in their uncleanness, when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. See, the Messiah was clear about that. You couldn't come around this, the Messiah killed you. But now we have the mercy and grace. But we can't take advantage of the mercy and grace because it's going to be lifted up. This is the law of him that hath an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him, and is defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of her flowers. Yeah, because a lot of times women have their cycles, they be sick. They be in pain, sometimes they have cramps, and they be like sick, like they're sick every month. And of her that is sick of her flowers, which is your cycle that you have every month, and of him that hath an issue, of the man and of the woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean. Those are laws about uncleanness. So I just want to go, we're gonna start going over these laws again, reviewing them just like we do everything else, because it's very important that we look upon this and come to the reality of keeping the Most High's laws, statutes, and commandments to the best of our ability. Judges 5:11. Judges 5:11. They that are delivered from the noise of archers in the places of drawing waters, there shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Most High. So we're rehearsing the righteous acts of the Most High. Even the righteous acts toward the inhabitants of his villages in Israel, toward the east. Then shall the people of the Most High go down to the gates, go to the elders, and ask for instructions pertaining to everything. So, let's continue in the word of the Most High. Let's look at Jeremiah. Jeremiah 31 and 31. Jeremiah 31 and 31. It says, Behold, the days come, said the Most High, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. So that's saying he's going to make a new contract or agreement with the house of Israel, meaning the 9.5 tribes, northern tribes, and with the house of Judah, the southern tribes. With Judah, Benjamin, and Levi was the southern tribes, and the 9.5 tribes were the northern tribes. You're going to make a new contract, a new agreement with the 12 tribes of Israel. That covers all 12 tribes. Not according to the covenant or the contract or agreement that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them out of the land, I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, said the Most High. So now that's the same covenant that he made with us when he brought us out of the land of Egypt. But this shall be the covenant or the contract or the agreement, which is a covenant, that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, said the Most High, I will put my law in their inward parts. So how is he going to put his laws into our inward parts if we don't go over them? He's going to put his laws in our inward parts like we just went over the law. So now that's, you understand that, should be in your inward parts. And write it in their hearts. Write them in our minds, so we know what's right from wrong. And will be their power, and they shall be my people. So how is it that you're going to say that the Most High is your power when you thinking in your mind and you acting in your everyday life that you're not under his law? You're not under his law. These are his laws. He said, I will put my law. You don't say our law. It says the Most High's law. So when you say you're not under the law, you're saying you don't have to follow the Most High. You calling on someone that you don't even know. So you say, I will put my law, they're his laws, in their inward parts. And write it in their hearts, and write it in our minds. And will be their power. And they shall be my people. Hear that? And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Most High. For they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Most High. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. That's only to Israel, because we the ones that was given the law, statutes, commandments. Only Israel. You heard Moses say, hey, Most High telling Moses, go tell Israel. Not no one else, just telling Israel. We the 12 tribes of Israel. This continue on to let you know how the Most High did not cast away his people. The 12 tribes of Israel. Like y'all trying to say, the 12 tribes of Israel is done away with. Now you can be a spiritual Israelite. That's a lie too. Listen. Verse 35. Thus said the Most High, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinance of the moon, and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Most High of hosts is his name. The Most High of armies is his name. Listen, if those ordinances depart from before me, if the sun, the moon, and divided the stars and divided of the sea, roaring as the Most High have it roar, if those ordinances depart from me, from before me, said the Most High, then the seed of Israel also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus said the Most High, if heaven above, the universe as they call it, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundation of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, said the Most High. See? Why is they out in space? Measurement. Why was Jacques Cousteau down into the sea? Trying to, discover the depths of the sea. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, just like we read in Jeremiah 31 down, go to Hebrews 8 and 8. Hebrews 8 and 8. For finding fault with them, we the 12 tribes of Israel. He said, behold, the days come, said the Most High, when I will make a new covenant, a new contract or agreement with the house of Israel, 9.5 tribes, northern tribes, and with the house of Judah, the southern tribes, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, coming out of Egyptian captivity into the wilderness, because they continued not in my covenant. We didn't continue to follow the laws of the Most High. And I regarded them not, said the Most High. He told us he's going to do this. He hid his face from us because we didn't follow the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. And the nations knew this. But see, we don't know because most of us thinking that we're Gentiles. And you're the 12 tribes of Israel, the Most High's chosen people. This is our story right here in this Bible. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Most High. I will put my laws into their mind. See, now it's giving you clear. So you read from the old to the new, now it's giving you the understanding of what he was saying in the old. He said his heart. He said, I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. Write them in our minds. The heart is the mind. And write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a power. And they shall be to me a people. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor. See? We're not going to be teaching as we teaching now. And every man his brother, saying, know the Most High. Know the Most High. Know Mashiach Yahushua. For all shall know me, from the least to the greatest. Mashiach Yahushua coming back to show us of the Most High. But right now we're rehearsing. And he's going to make everything that's the part a whole. So we know in part and prophesy in part. But when he come back, he's going to show us the whole part. Where we're not going to be prophesying and knowing in part. But we don't know it all. Because he don't teach us all. Most High will. And we're blessed to be our names written in the book of life. You see? From the least to the greatest. See, that's, no matter how you look at this, we all will be on the same plane of knowing of the Most High. You no more teaching of him. Because the Mashiach Yahushua going to be that great teacher. But now, he said, I'm going to give you passages according to my heart, which will feed you with knowledge and understanding. That's what he's doing now. So people take advantage of it, or it's a disadvantage to them because they want to be wicked. They want to be evil. They want to follow the way of the world. That's why they at war with the Most High. They fight with the Most High, and they become the enemy of the Most High because they don't want to do what he say do. It's his law. We just read it. What he say? He told us in Jeremiah 31 down, he said, in verse 10, he said, I will put my laws. These are his laws, not ours. These are his laws. My laws into their mind and write them in their hearts. And I will be to them a power. They shall be to me a people. So, are you a people? If you're not trying to follow the Most High's laws, no, you know nobody to him. That's like you saying that I don't need you. And the only way he's going to really be there for you is you doing what you're supposed to do and honoring him. Just like today is the Sabbath, everybody doing whatever they're doing out there in the world. Wait on tomorrow to go to church or whatever they're going to do. And don't even honor that day as a Sabbath. From what it is, and from what the Most High said we're supposed to do. So how is it that they got these rules and regulations for Gentiles? That's what they're doing, that's what they follow. They taught the Gentiles, so this is the rules and regulations of the Gentiles that they use to just come in. I mean, they can't justify that. You can't justify Stepping up in the church on the Sunday after you finish church, you go downstairs, eat your hog maws and your ham and your abominations and so forth, and feed the people abominations and justify that. Ain't no mercy and grace for that. Most I tell you in Isaiah 66 chapter 15 verse down, he gonna burn you up. He gonna consume you to eat the pork, eat the swine, and the abomination, as you read in Leviticus 11 chapter, and the mouse. They're gonna be consumed together, it says. So he got a judgment for everyone that break his laws. You hearing it, you better adhere to it, or he said all the sinners of my people gonna die by the sword. That's what he's saying. That's the children of Israel, that's us. Sin is what? The transgression of his law. So the things that you can do to follow the law, we better be trying our best as we rehearse them. Or he's gonna kill you. He said, hey, you got a sword. This sword, you looking at this sword every day. They're around you every day. You gotta understand. He didn't make the wicked for no purpose at all. You're gonna be put to death. Look at Psalms 17 and 13. David saying, "Come, Yahweh, arise, Most High, O Most High. Disappoint him, cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword." Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Last I read, Job 9:24 says, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Come on. So he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Bam. Come on. Don't fool yourself. Look. Proverbs 16 and 4. Most I have made all things for himself. Proverbs 16 and 4. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil. So he made the wicked for the day of evil. So don't get it twisted. They have a purpose. And they're made for the day of evil. It tells you in Maccabees how when the Greek Empire came into existence, in 1 Maccabees 1 and 1, and verse 9 says, let's go there. Once Alexander the Greek came into power, and he died after reigning for 12 years, 20 years old to 32 years old. But before he died, he set up his 4 generals to take over his kingdom, his 4 realms. So in 1 Maccabees, 1st chapter, 9th verse, it says, and after his death, after Alexander the Greek's death, they all put crowns upon themselves, meaning the 4 generals came into power and authority, and did their sons after them. So after they died, their sons came into power and authority after them. Many years, it says. And evils were multiplied in the earth. That's what it says. So, I want to look into this book called Babylon the Timbuktu by Rudolph R. Windsor. I want to go to page 83. And we're going to read what this historian Rudolph R. Windsor writes. And it says, the North African Black Jews. That's what he entitled it. In the year 331, Alexander the Greek defeated the Persian Empire, or the Persian Emperor Darius at the Battle of Gaugamela, incorrectly called Arbela. A new master emerged on the world stage and transformed the history and culture of 3 continents. However, Alexander died in the prime of his life at the age of 32 because of debauchery and intoxication. Before the death of Alexander, his desire was to establish a Eurasian state. His scheme was to amalgamate the Greeks with the Asians, to have the Greeks go into the Asians. This was implemented by the widespread marriage of his troops with the colored women of the East. Most of his troops remained in the subjugated countries and became observed into the native population. After the death of Alexander, this vast empire was divided among his generals. Ptolemy received Egypt, and Seleucus received Asia. As time elapsed, there was constant war between these 2 dynasties, between Egypt and Asia, between Ptolemy and Seleucus. By the year 198 BC, the descendants of General Seleucus had their capital in Syria, just north of Palestine. In this same year, the Seleucid dynasty in Syria compelled Egypt to give up Palestine, the land of the Jews. The king of Syria at this time was Antiochus III. When Antiochus IV usurped the throne in Syria, 175 to 163 BC, he entertained the thought of uniting Alexander's empire. This meant the conquest of Egypt. He had to go against Ptolemy. That was the land that he had received. However, the province that bordered on Egypt was Palestine, or Israel, which stood in his way. At this time, the Jews would not accept Greek culture. Nevertheless, Antiochus was determined to Hellenize the Jews. And Hellenize means Greek-speaking Jews, following their customs. And we can read about it as we just left off with 1 Maccabees, the 1st chapter, the 9th verse. It says, evils were multiplied in the earth when the Greeks came into power. And they took over from Alexander the Greek once he died. Now verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. See? Okay? So, just showing you how it goes right along with the Bible. Though scripture is not there. But we can see. And continue. He wanted to Hellenize the Jews. So the army of Antiochus marched into Palestine to support Menelaus, the leader of the pro-Syrian party. As a result, many Jews were killed. Others escaped to the hills and to Egypt. Only those Jews that supported Antiochus' policies remained in Jerusalem. An edict was promulgated interdicting the observance of the holidays, the Sabbath, and circumcision. A statue of Jupiter was erected in the holy temple above the altar. To this statue, the people brought the sacrifices of pig meat, the animal, which is an abomination to the Jews. Because of this religious persecution, the legitimate high priest, Onias III, and many other Jews fled into African countries such as Egypt, Ethiopia, and Cyrenaica, Libya. Throughout the land, 2,500 years, main factors that have contributed to the social migration of the Jews were wars, religious persecution, and commerce. All these factors were operating and gave rise to the African Jewish population. I'm saying African because we're where we ran in Africa. See, so when you look at this, he said the only ones that remain in Jerusalem were the ones that only the Jews that supported Antiochus' policies remained in Jerusalem. So that's why I'm looking at this. When you look at Mashiach Abishai coming into the world, into the flesh, you had what it says here in First Maccabees, first chapter, the 11th verse. It says, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen. Now, we just read about the covenant or the agreement that the Most High made with who? We, the 12 tribes of Israel. So, excluding that covenant that the Most High made with us, now you want to go and make a covenant or contract with the heathen. And all the gods of the nations are idols. They're dealing with paganism. So here go Israelites in Palestine or in Jerusalem, as he said as a historian, just backing it up with the Bible. He says, in those days, verse 11 of First Maccabees, the first chapter, in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. This device pleased them well. This certain of the people were so forward herein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Hear this? Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen. So this place of exercise, like going to these gyms and so forth, this is a custom of the heathen. Not of the Most High, not of Israelites. He didn't give us that. We didn't do that. And we end up fighting in the dang on Colosseums and so forth. Fighting lions, tigers, and bears and so forth. They show you in the movies. Only as us. You know. It's us. The gladiators, that's us. Braveheart, that's us. Verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised, stopped following the laws of the Most High, and forsook the Holy Covenant, and forsook the Holy Covenant, and forsook the Holy Covenant that we just read the Most High gave to us, we the children of Israel, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief. See? Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of two realms. That's what we just read the historian said. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. See? Remember, Alexander divided his kingdoms with his 4 generals. Ptolemy had Egypt. So Antiochus, or the Seleucid line, as the historian said, Rudolph R. Winston, he gave you the history. Here it is in the Bible. The same thing. Verse 20, and after that Antiochus had smitten, excuse me, let me go back to verse 17. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy, and made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt. But Ptolemy was afraid of him and fled, and many were wounded to death, killed many in this war. Ptolemy fled. He escaped. Thus they got the strong cities in the land of Egypt. And he took the spoils thereof, robbed them of everything they had. And after that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude. Now he's going into Israel with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar, and the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof, and the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and the veils, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crowns, and the golden ornaments that were before the temple, all which he pulled off. He took also the silver and the gold, and the precious vessels. Also he took the hidden treasures which he found. So they get rich behind taking all the things that we had of value. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre, and spoken very proudly, killed a lot of us. Therefore, there was great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were. So you look at verse 9 again. And after his death, after Alexander the Greek death, they all put crowns upon themselves, so did their sons after them, many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. For these evils were against us, we the children of Israel. Because they knew that we were the chosen people of the Most High. And you see what he did. He didn't only just, take the land, he shut us down. Destroying the tabernacle, destroying the place of our worship. Verse 25, therefore there was great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were, so that the princes and elders mourned. The virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beauty of women was changed. Every bridegroom took up lamentation. Every bridegroom, every man that was going to get married was crying. And she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. See that virgin that was sitting in the virgin chamber, waiting to get married, was in heaviness. The land also was moved for the inhabitants thereof. And all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion. And after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came into Jerusalem with a great multitude of warriors, and spake peaceably words unto them, but all was deceit. That's the devil, deceitful and evil person. And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. When they had given him credence, he fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore, and destroyed much people of Israel. So it's no different than when they came here. We come for peace. It's like we come for peace, but they shooting us, killing us. They came here to the shores of America. We was a very peaceful people. Showed them love, and for our love, we got him. Because they didn't just vote for America when Columbus came here in Amerigo Vespucci. That's what America's named after, Amerigo Vespucci. Look him up. Murder Incorporated. But they came with peace. They came with peace. Right? So he came with peace. So therefore, our people thinking, they're our friends. They killed them. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 3. When they shall say, peace and safety, Then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. You see? But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are the children of light. So we ain't supposed to be in darkness, that a day should overtake us like a thief. He coming like a thief in the night. We should be knowing. Darkness means you not knowing. You should be knowing and seeing the prophecies appear before your eyes as a woman in travail, and seeing the things that's going on, so you gotta keep abreast of what's going on so you know. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep, as do others, but let us watch and be sober. Let us watch and be focused. Let us watch and not be no drunkards. Because when you drunk, that's when he come. You're going to be on your right senses. You're going to be trying to figure it out. It's going to be too late. That's why you got to watch and be sober. You got to drink in moderation. For they that sleep, sleep in the night. And they that be drunken are drunken in the night. See? They that sleep, they sleep in the night. Those that are in darkness, they sleeping in the time of darkness night. Where we in now, that's where the Mashiach Shai come. He going to bring forth the day. The light that's going to last forever and ever and ever. And those that fall in the darkness are going to be cast into the lake of fire. Once he come and show us of the Most High, you still want to follow Satan as he release Satan to see if you're going to go that way now? Oh, you're going to be cast in the lake of fire. Forgot about it. But let us, who are of the day, be sober. See? Putting on the breastplate of faith, believing in the Most High, and love, keeping his commandments. See that faith? You know, Mashiach going to the Most High on our behalf, to have faith in the Most High. And that love is the keeping of the commandments. And for an helmet, for your mind, the hope of salvation. See? That's our hope for salvation. Now, when we just coming from our story of when the Greeks came into power under Antiochus IV, seeing Epiphanes, what he did. And how they operated then. And you're looking at, is the operation still the same? Concerning the love that they have for the 12 tribes of Israel? It's the same. But it's our fault. Because the Most High told us he was going to do this. Well, you want to accept it or not. He told us he was going to do this. Listen. 1 Thessalonians 5 and 9. For the Most High have not appointed us to wrath, but to obtain salvation by our power of Mashiach Yahushua as he come and judge and make war, who died for us. His blood was shed for the 12 tribes of Israel. He said in Matthew 15:24, but he answered and said, I have not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And we know that Acts 5 and 30 and 31 says, repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. That's why it says, who died for us, verse 10. Who died for us, the 12 tribes of Israel, 1/3, mind you, that whether we wake or sleep, we should live together with him. Wherefore comfort yourselves together and edify one another, even as also ye do. See? We have to look at edifying one another. As the Most High has told us we have to do. And we got to edify ourselves with the truth of this Bible. The truth of the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High. And within the Bible, we understanding that we are receiving the laws of the Most High, the understanding of the laws, how we operate with it. First Maccabees 1. Verse 30, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. See, all was deceit. When they had given him credence, they allowed him to, they relaxed him, giving him, come on in and we gonna show you love. He fell suddenly upon the city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel. Hear that? He destroyed a lot of us. And when he had taken the spoils of the city, he set it on fire. He's burned our city. When he had robbed us of everything he could get, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. Pulled down our walls and protection, and the houses tore them down. But the women and children took they captive. Hear this, women? But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle, took our livestock. But see, women and children were spoiled, just like gold and silver and everything else is valuable. The women would be taken captive. Now, you taken captive, what do you think they did with the women and the children? You were just sex objects, or whatever they're going to do with you as a slave. Then builded they the city of David with a great and strong wall, and with mighty towers, and made it a stronghold for them. And they put therein a sinful nation. And they put therein a sinful nation. This is before Mashiach Yahushua came on the earth. You understand? This is between Malachi and Matthew. They put in Israel a sinful nation, wicked men, and fortified themselves therein. They stored it also with armor and victuals. And when they had gathered together the spoils of Jerusalem, they laid them on up there. And so they became a sore snare. Now, look at, you see, wicked men was already there of Israel. That went right along with them destroying Israel. So, the Most High told us in Jeremiah 10 and 2. Jeremiah 10 and 2. Thus said the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen. Right? So he told us not to learn the way of the heathen. So go to Psalms. He told us don't learn the way of the heathen. Psalms 96 and 5. This is why he told us, don't learn the ways of the heathen. Psalms 96 and 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols. See? All the gods of the nations are idols, but the Most High made the heavens. Because a lot of these